Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is October 5th, 2021, and Bitcoin is looking like it's not yet done. What do I mean by that? All right. Previously, we had called the top of the fifth wave at around 49.2. Right here. Right. Let me turn the magnet off. Right here, I believe. But the issue with that is that right now, so two issues with that. One, if we're careful and we measure the length of the third wave, pull the fibs like I just did, and you look at this 1618, which is the projection of the fifth wave from the third wave, according to Elliot Wave theory, you get $52,000. Okay. And the second thing is if you measure the inverse of the fourth wave, which this, let's say hypothetically that the bottom of the fourth wave is here and the top of the fourth wave is here, what our previous fifth wave top, right? So you take that inverse, you also get something in either the 50s or even as high as 51.5. So technically, you can take the inverse of the fourth wave, and the 1618 will project the fifth wave, the end of the fifth wave, which is 50,667 here. Okay, so either way, this does not signify the top at 49.2. Although that was a local top because that fourth wave correction has taken quite some time, and it was a good take profit zone, and pretty much the rest of the market, most of the market, not the whole market, but the bulk of the market was doing the same thing, consolidating laterally. So now that we know that it's likely that Bitcoin go to 52K, and another way we can find out where we want, where we're headed, what's the next target is by doing it through pattern analysis. Okay, so if we have here, let's just take this off for a second. If we have this inverse head and shoulders, looks like a W pattern. If we have this, all we have to do is, well, this looks like a triple bottom. Take the length of, see, this is clearly a neckline right here. So from the neckline down, let's just say down here, this is the lowest point. Take this and superimpose it from the neckline, and we said this looks like a good neckline right here, right? This is clearly some resistance. This is a top. Let's see. That looks like a top. Is it the top? I don't know, but that looks like a top where we are right now. But then we formed another bullish pattern over here. This W neckline looks like it's over here to the bottom there. Looks like this is the top, 50,562. It does look like this is a top. Maybe not the top, but a top. I expect Bitcoin to keep fighting, but there's not much more. The only other reason we can say that we're going to 52,000 is from what I said, through taking the third wave. And let's put our wave count on again. Let's put the magnet on. So if this is 1, 2, let's say 3 is here, let's say 4 is there, 5 would be up here. Once again, all right, so let's change this color. And if you guys appreciate this kind of real-time sorting out of my projections, my setups, my Bitcoin analysis, it's not pre-made, sort of prefab. I'm doing it with you, and one of the reasons I like to do this do it this way is so that you can see my process. You can see how I make errors, how I question myself, how I confirm my calls. Hopefully that's educational, and the whole idea behind this channel is to educate. And I intend to get better, and hopefully you do, through watching, liking, subscribing, or watching this channel, right? Following my work. So if you like that, please like the video, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Anyway, this is a little too thick because we can hardly see what we're doing here. Okay, so let's do this again and see the inverse of the 4 wave to the 1618. That gives 50,631. Okay, and the other way we can find it, let's take the third wave, the entire third wave. And that gives us 53,000. The more accurate projection is going to be the inverse of the 4th wave because it's closer in time. So it's more reflective of what's likely to happen. The 3rd wave is 1 wave removed. Does that make sense? So if I have the 4th wave as data to use to project the 5th wave, I'd rather rely on what the inverse of the 4th wave says. So again, 1618 inverse of the 4th wave, 50,612 looks like the top. That being said, this is let me take this off. This is not that far off from what we thought it was, at 49,200. And it makes sense. Why? You have you have a huge 3rd wave, right? So you have an extended 3rd wave. You should get a truncated 5th wave. Okay. If you can't have an extended 3rd, well, you probably can, but you're not likely to get an extended 3rd wave and an extended 5th wave. Everything's possible, but we're looking at likelihood. That's technical analysis, right? So the likelihood of getting an extended 5th wave after getting an extended 3rd wave is unlikely. Actually, it's more likely to get a truncated 5th wave, and this is what we're getting here. And so that's why this is the top. So from here, it's basically what we said yesterday. Expect Bitcoin to slowly, it's going to take its time, correct to the 382, between the 382 and the 0.5. So anywhere between 44,649 and 45,789. It can correct as little as the 618, so $46,929, but that's unlikely. It's most likely that it corrects between the 382 and the 0.5 here. And that will come in the form of an ABC correction. And again, if you want to short, always look in terms of plotting out the ABC correction. So you're not going to, well, you shouldn't, not financial advice, but it is. You shouldn't look to short the A wave or obviously the B wave, right? I don't know where the target is, but let's say it's around here. You shouldn't look to do anything with the A wave. Maybe you can even long the B wave because the B wave usually happens pretty quickly and pretty forcefully, right? It's basically a retest. But you should open your short here at the top of the B wave. And this is what I always say. And I have even 2 videos on how to short, saying this. I'm not going to link to it in the upper right-hand corner. Just go on the site and look at the trading videos in the playlists. I think it's called Trading Tips or Trading Strategies. Yeah, Trading Strategies. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. So we're pretty much at the top. What does that mean? It means that there's not that much more real estate for things to go. Okay. If we're at the top, what's going to happen is Bitcoin's going to kind of come in and out within a range, kind of trying to test this top. But it's not going to be running large percentages, right? What that means is for other assets that you want to long, you may not have much room to go. Okay. And I was looking at Uniswap this morning, and I had a really nice setup, or at least what I thought was a nice setup. But it's not that nice of a setup considering Bitcoin is not going to run much, right? But my idea was Uniswap hasn't run much, and there's basically, let's say, it's still possible that this happened, by the way, because if you want to count Uniswap's, let's count Uniswap's waves. All right, let's see. So back to Elliot Wave Impulse. This is clearly one wave, two, this is our third wave that comes up here. We have a really exaggerated fourth wave correction. And in an exaggerated fourth wave correction, there's a lot of room for the fifth wave. So that's why I like the Uniswap, because there's a lot of it has to come back quite a bit to make up that fifth wave, okay? So that's why I was looking at Uniswap. Now let's try and confirm this count by looking at what comes before it. So let's say this was, okay, this was a correction, A, B, C. Okay, and the A is 5 waves down, B is 3 waves up. I count 3. C is 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that looks like it makes sense. So my confirmation, that's basically my confirmation that this is a logical first wave. 1, 2 doesn't come below the 1, the origination point of the 1. 3 is extended, just like you saw in Bitcoin, so that makes sense. 4 takes a while, and it's exaggerated, kind of like what you saw in Bitcoin, although Bitcoin's was more lateral. The 4 wave in Uniswap was more intense. And so now we have a fifth wave. We can measure the fifth wave. I think it makes most sense to use the inverse of the 4 wave. Okay, so that should at least give us $29 for the fifth wave. Okay, and I hope everybody sees that. And then if we use pattern analysis, zoom in a little bit, we see that this clear inverse head and shoulders here. We take from the bottom to the top, let's say necklines over here-ish, superimposed. That would give you another pattern here, and you would do the same thing. After, obviously, it would consolidate a bit after forming this. So you would create another shoulder, a right shoulder. But after all of that is said and done, yeah, you get about that same target. So I hope everybody sees that process of confirmation of targets. The only issue with this setup, and where would you set your stop loss? This is key. Risk mitigation is key. I would personally set my stop loss under these EMAs. We're in the 45-minute chart. Let's go in the hourly chart. I would set it, I like the 45-minute chart. Why? Because the EMAs make most sense. You see this chop right here. This channel, let's see. Where's my channel? Where's my channel? Here we go. This channel that you see is basically representative of tons of buying and selling activity. It's very concentrated, okay? And this happened over the course of a decent amount of time. 1 day and 11 hours, okay? So 1 day and 11 hours, people who have been buying and selling Uniswap has been doing so in a really consolidated range, okay? And of basically a deviation of 2.8%. So it's been chopped. If you're buying and you're selling Uniswap, nothing's been happening. That consolidation means that wherever it breaks out, to the top or the bottom, there's going to be a big breakout, okay? And because this is an inverse head and shoulders, because we're in a fourth wave, at the bottom of a fourth wave, right? One, and a fourth wave and a second wave in Elliot Wave. A theory is essentially a correction, and corrections always happen in ABC, in ABC patterns, okay? I say that every day on this channel, and I say that every day on this channel. But hopefully you learn that and you use it, because a lot of people in crypto seem not to know what a correction is. And actually, corrections in Elliot Wave theory are the trickiest part. And if you get that, everything opens up. So learn your corrections. So this fourth wave correction, we can chart it. Let's just look at it really quickly, just for the sake of sort of really nailing or drumming this down. So we see the ABC here. No, so the A happens in 5 waves, and the B happens in 3 waves, and the C happens in 5 waves. So what it looks like here is we have the A that comes here. It goes here. The B that goes there. And then the C that goes all the way. Well, this is not easy to track. Corrections are a mess, okay? They're not pretty, and they don't necessarily look easy to see. But, okay, so the A is 5 waves. So I would give those 5 waves like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then the B is 3 waves. So that's ABC. So I think that would be, so if that's down, this is up. So I think this is this ABC right here. Maybe it's up here. And the C wave down here. Okay. It's choppy. I mean, I wouldn't. So, like, as you see, the anatomy of a correction is always messy, and it's seldom 100%. But I just wanted to do that little exercise, whether it's right or wrong, just to show you, one, how difficult, how confusing it can be. But 2, it doesn't really matter. All you know is that, it's an ABC correction. Should you try and chart it? Yes. Do that, because it helps you kind of see the patterns. It helps you get used to what it looks like, because one day you're probably going to need more precise anatomy of a correction to make a setup. Anyway, the most important thing is that this is a correction that's complete, and here you have the inflection point, and you want to get in on a trade at an inflection point. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Basically, that means that we're at the bottom. We're getting ready to turn around. And if you turn on, so let's use our indicator, our vital algo indicator. Also, if you want to use vital algo, as you see here, let's give it a second to populate. You can use my promo code SDN at checkout for 25% off. This is the indicator I use. This is a partner of the channel, and it's one of the best indicators out there, in my opinion. And I use it to corroborate my analysis. So we'll see that, yes, the indicator is pointing or indicating an uptrend from here. And like I said, let's look at what this trade setup would be in terms of a stop loss. I set my stop loss at 25.17, right under the EMAs. If we come below these EMAs, I think that it would be too much to head back up, because the EMAs would just pose too much of a barrier of resistance. Okay, so basically, if we come down here, it's game over. But the upside is quite substantial. Let's go back on the 45-minute chart. The upside is quite substantial. So if we pull out our little long position here, let's turn the indicator off so there's not as much noise. So you always want to do this either manually or in your head for every trade to make it make sense. Okay, make it make sense. So I entered around 44, 45. My stop loss is at 17, right below the EMAs, 25.17. There we go. Okay, and my target is, I'm just taking one target here. My target's all the way up here. Okay, so this trade is risk to reward ratio of 13, which is excellent, right? You want at least a risk to reward ratio of 3. So that's Bitcoin. That's the market. That's my Uniswap trade setup. Hope that was helpful. Hope that was useful.